Welcome to the AndroidVirus and Sean Show. I am AndroidVirus, and I have Sean on. What's up, Sean?
Not much, man. How we doing today?
Good. And we have a special guest on with us tonight, the legendary, the elusive Blade Braxton.
How's it going?
Doing good, Blade.
I
Go ahead.
didn't know if that was my cue. I didn't know if that was my cue to come on the show, or you wanted me to shut the fuck up for a few more minutes.
This is your cue right here. This is your cue.
Thank you very much.
Come on, throw it up for Blade. Come on, people. Come on, put it up for Blade.
You're a beautiful audience.
Right, that's right, God damn it.
Okay.
Thunderous applause for Blade Braxton.
Thank you.
How you doing, Blade? Long-time fans.
How am I doing? My dick is bleeding.
Jesus. Holy crap.
That hasn't happened to me since 8th grade when I would just rub it raw, and I was like, why am I bleeding on the side? And I'm like, you jerk off, you're not doing it right with the Vaseline, you know?
No, it's not that, man. Fucking the first time ever in my life, just about a fucking hour ago, I had the Ben Stiller something about Mary thing happen to me. It was very painful. You know, getting your dick caught in your zipper, man.
Oh, gotcha.
That's how my evening is going, man. Yeah.
How'd you get the Franks over the beans? Good Lord, man. That's a beautiful way to start the Friday. I thought mine was.
It is. Well, it's the reason why, and I'll tell you why, is because if I sound a little echoey, perhaps it's because I am presently stranded 90 minutes from home without a car.
Oh, shit.
At a home that's being built. I'm working right now, and you know there's no toilet here, so I got to piss out the fucking window.
No trash bag in it?
No, just number one. I just hit number one. But I noticed I had to piss. But then I noticed the new homeowners pulled up. I said, oh fuck, let me go. I better hurry up, and fucking piss out the window real quick. And then in my fucking hurriness to fucking get my junk back in my pants, I fucking fucking the head of my dick got caught in my zipper, man. It was fucking painful, dude. Let me tell you something, bro. I work with saws, and I have run my fucking finger and my thumb into a table saw twice, and I honestly think that the dick in the zipper is actually more painful than
God dang.
I picture you at a house, something where the Wyatts would live, somewhere in the woods, the Wyatt family. Right now.
It's kind of ritzy though, man. I'm up in the hills, brand new, fancy fucking subdivision.
Well, I've actually had a question to you because I know you're in that Kansas area.
I'm in that Kansas area.
Kansas, that middle of the country area, homegrown apple pie, and everything else that goes with it.
Unfucking fortunately, that's why I spend so much money on travel. I gotta get the fuck out of here every fucking month.
Well, and that's what one of my questions is, like, all I know about Kansas is you and that crazy ass Westboro Baptist Church that's out there, and all I think is they're just running around all the time with signs, acting like lunatics, you know.
Let me tell you something, bro.
Okay.
Those guys are in my old hometown that I was born in. Topeka, Kansas. So it was so for the past 20 years, when everybody asks me, when I meet strangers, I people would be like, oh, where do you live? I'd be like, oh, I don't say Topeka, because then they would think that I might be out there with signs and shit, acting all fucking stupid. So I'd just be like, nah, I live near Kansas City. So then they might think I live in Missouri.
Missouri,
yeah. Yeah.
And then so you go to
but
Missouri.
Yeah, no, but even back to the Westboro Baptist Church, man. Yeah, when I used to come home from school, man.
Right.
You know, I graduated. Now I first remember them and their signs. I want to say like when I was a sophomore in high school in 1991, because they weren't all God hates fag stuff. Then they were protesting like this. They were protesting this abortion clinic that was on my path to my home. You know, so I had to drive by the abortion clinic and see them out there with their signs, and I was like, man, you know, I don't know. Let's not get into an abortion debate here.
Yeah, well, I was telling.
Within 5 minutes, we're just talking politics and abortion right off the bat. Like, how did it get so off the rails?
Exactly. You go. So I was telling Sean Blade the other day that I go and work not part-time, not even close to part-time, at a local gym where I live, a local MMA fighters gym. So up the street from the fighters gym, there's an abortion clinic, right? So I get to drive by the abortion clinic, and every day there's somebody out there, you know, holding up an anti-abortion sign, and then there's the person next to them holding up a woman shouldn't have to have a baby if she was raped, right? Whatever. So you got the both the pro and the con, the face and the heel, so to speak. So me personally, I told Sean that I wanted to drape a billboard over me, like the old timey billboards, where you have the, you know, I guess you could say things over your shoulders, but you have a billboard on your front and a billboard over your back. And I was telling Sean that I wanted to put little cherub angels on each side and say, babies earn their wings here. So,
that's touching. That's beautiful. I just want to grab a gang of my friends and dress up in fetus costumes and put a bunch of slime over us and just fucking run out there and fucking scream and shit. I don't even know what side that would benefit. I think it would scare the fuck out of both of them, and then they might get out of your way, bro. So then you could drive peacefully past your local abortion clinic without the fear of hitting a pedestrian with your car, which saves lives, which actually means you're pro-life.
I got kicked out of a party, and I think I told Sean about this before. I got kicked out of a party. I had gotten an old big pickle jar, and I put a tube, you know, like for my air conditioner, a tube, into the top of the pickle jar, and I taped it, like duct taped. Then I duct taped the tube around my head. But in the jar itself, I put some fake blood and some meat and other chunks in there. And everybody's like, "What are you supposed to be?" I'm like, "I'm an abortion, you fucker. Don't you get it?" I got asked to leave the party. So, you know, I guess it just wasn't very PC. Speaking of horror, Mr. Braxton, now, long-time Trauma fan for myself. This is AndroidVirus here, right? Long-time Trauma fan.
Good man.
Now,
good man.
Yeah,
nothing but the finest films.
Nothing but there's nothing like taking a hit of LSD and watching Class of Nukem High for your first time. Phenomenal.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Of course.
So
I love being non-straight edge and watching trauma movies. You know, my good friend Bjarni, who's a member of the Trauma team. You know, he has a DVD collection that rivals mine, but he can rattle off lines and facts and history more because, you know, when I watch the movies, I'm usually annihilated, and I sometimes don't always remember what I watched.
I want to ask you how you got involved.
Maybe I've got a drinking problem.
Yeah.
Well, I know you were a little bit involved in the original or one of the Toxic Avengers or something like that. Paint this picture for us. So, did you have like a small scene or a blip or something?
Well, no. Actually, when it came time for Trauma to put out the 21st anniversary edition of the Toxic Avenger on DVD, which was like, actually, I filmed. They were asking for short films from fans, and if they were good enough, they would put them on the DVD. So I thought to myself, oh shit, I'm like, here's my lifelong dream, man. I could be on a Trauma DVD, So I fucking and actually I filmed it. I filmed, me and a couple of my friends. We had a little wrestling match, and we added some effects of me smashing my friend's head inside the wrestling ring. And I just put together this little skit where I said, Toxic Avenger inspired me to live my life, and of course, it culminates with me crushing a man's head inside the wrestling ring. So that, and we, like I said, we filmed that almost 10 years ago to the day. Actually, time flies, but yeah. So that was my first, the first thing I ever did that was, in regards to trauma, which, dude, I was higher than a kite, man. I was like, holy shit! I'm like, there's a wrestling match with me and it crushing someone's fucking head. I hollowed out a melon, like they would do in the trauma films, and put hamburger meat in it. I did that. I filmed. We filmed the wrestling match at a venue for the indie fed that I worked for. But we cut away. So I draped a bunch of fucking towels in my kitchen and fucking smashed the fucking melon. Fucking hamburger went flying everywhere, and my fucking girlfriend was yelling at me because she didn't like trauma. We actually broke up over Dolphin Man in public in a mall one time.
All right,
man.
So how did you get involved with? Okay, I've been following it. So we got Return to Class of Nukem High. That's right. The latest trauma feature coming out. And is there a volume 1 and 2 to it?
Yes, sir.
Okay,
volume 1 and 2. Volume 1 is out right now. And volume 2 is in post-production right now. So hopefully, I don't know the time frame on that. They're actually still filming a few scenes. I mean, it's pretty much done.
How did you get involved? How did you get involved with it?
Let's see here. Well, ever since I was on that DVD, 10 years ago. I mean, I'd helped Lloyd out playing the Toxic Avenger and such at movie premieres and things like that, and it was always my dream to, my dream is to be in the class of Nukem High. I mean, that was my favorite movie of all time. You know what I mean?
Great.
Yeah.
And it was the summer of 2012.
Okay.
And I was busy as fuck, dude. And I working 100 hours a fucking week. I run a construction business.
Okay.
And I see on the Trauma website they're like, hey, we need extras for this scene, and do you want to be in Return to Nukem High? Come on down. I'm like, fuck. I'm like, this is my fucking dream unfolding here. I'm like, and I can't get there. I'm like, what the fuck? I'm fucked, And
right.
I'm like, and dude, I was like, and as the weeks went on, and I'm still working 100 hours a week. I'm like, fuck. I'm like, dude, I'm fucked. I'm like, dude, how am I gonna get there? I was broke, I could, I was like, because I gotta. Sometimes I gotta sink a lot of money in work supplies. And sometimes it takes me a few weeks to get paid. So, and I had done that, so I'm fucking broke. But anyway, fucking. So I gave up. I gave up on it. I just gave up. I'm like, well, just whatever. I'll just because that's the thing, man. And here's Blade Braxton's morals. I don't know, Blade Braxton's morals for life. If something if something good doesn't happen, you know, you don't get depressed about it. You just keep on trucking and then hope it'll happen someday. You know, if you miss a concert or you miss maybe your child being born, you know, go to another concert, knock up another hooker. You might get that experience again. But anyway, so I gave up on it, and at the time, Trauma, they had launched a Kickstarter to help pay to get their little duck, because they're Kevin the Wonder Duck, and to pay for that, because it was going to cost like, you know, $10,000 to get these 2 trained and professional ducks, and they hit the goal. It was close to the deadline. They finally hit the goal, but then one of the people that bid some money on that, a big amount of money, they yanked their bid away. So Trauma went under the amount they needed to get to in order to receive the money on Kickstarter. Well, once that happened, you know, fucking 30 years of being a Trauma fan kicked in, and I was like, God damn it, I almost owe Lloyd for all the enjoyment he gave me. So
sure.
I was like, you know what, fuck it, I'm gonna let me fucking kick in some money, and let me fucking because they said, if you donate money, you can be in the movie, yada yada yada. So I emailed Lloyd. I was like, what the, well, you know, if I donate this money, what all can I be doing? You're gonna be a cretin. I'm like, fuck, I'm like, no shit. I'm like, fuck, I'm there. So I fucking, I hustled everything and got out there, man, and fucking I got to fucking ride on a fucking Harley and spray paint a mutant duck and tear shit up and support Trauma, man. You know what I mean?
Is Lloyd? I'm gonna ask you, and I'm not gonna try to bury anybody or bury you or do whatever, but is Lloyd? Is he like always in character? Is he constantly like trolling folks? Like, what's Lloyd's deal?
Man, Lloyd reminds me of myself in a way. There's times when you're quote unquote on, and there's times when you're a normal human being. Believe it or not, I don't shit in trash bags constantly, and I'm constantly inebriated or high on coke or jerking off to Mickey James. Believe it or not.
Right.
Now, are you going to be jerking off?
It all depends. It all depends on the environment. You know what I mean?
Sure.
It all depends on the environment. It all depends on the environment. Like people. Like the environment I'm in, the environment Lloyd is in, and how you amp. And what the level of being amped up you need to be.
I think I pissed him off when I met him.
Really?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I think. So I was at a local. Like, if you don't know Blade, I'm in good old Albuquerque, New Mexico. So yeah, well, just north of me is where the Warrior lived, man. Come on, that's. So he just so all those funny little snippets of him driving his truck at the gym is like about 40 miles north of me. But
I would have been there every day.
Right.
So there's a local comic book convention, and a couple of years ago, the Trauma team came. Lloyd was there, and I'm a huge Trauma fan. Me and my buddy dressed up like his Mexican wrestlers. My buddy had
there you go.
Pints. Yeah, my buddy had about 2 pints of vodka. So he was a little annoying, and he bought a fake arm. Whatever the case. And he kept on saying the whole time, I'm gonna have Andy Kaufman sign this, man. I'm gonna have Andy Kaufman sign it. I said, you mean Lloyd, dude? Yeah. So I go up and I said, hey man, nice to meet you. Blah blah blah. He's all, thanks. And it was like, buy something, get something, So cool. I buy the Toxic Crusaders. I have a pair of twin sons. So I said, they're going to love this. I'm going to start raising them right. I buy them Toxic Crusaders.
Oh, that's beautiful. That's beautiful. Because let me don't mean to interrupt you, but the first trauma movie I saw at age 10 was my dad showed me Blood-Sucking Freaks.
That's great.
You know, my mom comes down during the scene where the chick has a dartboard on her ass and darts are being thrown on her ass, and she's like, "Paul, he's not supposed to be watching this."
That's funny.
Be like that. Be like my dad.
Well, you know what? It's funny. I was doing that today. My son, one of my sons wasn't feeling too good, so my wife, we were watching TV. The way my TV is placed in my bedroom, me and my wife are laying in bed, and my son comes and lays down. He's about 8 years old. And the way these smart TVs work these days, I go ahead and go to YouTube. And I'm like, what do I feel like watching that's full on YouTube, like a full movie? So I type up Miss 45. So I start watching Miss 45, and the beautiful Zoe Lund gets raped 2 times in the first 10 minutes.
Twice.
Yeah, twice.
Once.
Yeah, by 2 different.
Twice. Yeah. 3 times a Miss 45. You know, I love her. I love that movie, dude. You know, if this was our show,
yeah,
I would cue the sad news music because I sold in my early 2000s stupidity. I sold my Miss 45 big box VHS because I was like, we're gonna get a DVD. Fuck this VHS. This is out of date. I'd give anything for that back now. Now it's gonna cost me $50.
Oh, I wish I had.
By the way,
that,
which rape in Miss 45 do you find most romantic? The first one or the second one?
I find the first one, the second one, because it's face to face.
Yeah. You know, there's a lot of mystery in the air when you're doggy styled over a trash can by a guy in a mask. You know?
So,
not a lot of time for romance.
No. You know? So we're watching Miss 40. My wife's like, I don't think this is for him. And I said, there's no nudity in it. There's no fucking nudity in this. What are you talking about? This is completely inappropriate for him. So then I got to go over the story with my wife about how, look, my dad kept me home from school in 1982 or 3. I was in kindergarten, and he took me to see Creepshow, okay? This is how I was raised. Same year, did the same. I don't know, my dad we just like to hang out. Same year, we fucking do it with Mad Max 2, The Road Warrior. So this is how I was raised. I'm sure you're raised the same way.
Oh, yeah.
Why are you doing my mom? Joe, you can't be keeping him home from school to take him to see Creepshow and The Road Warrior. You know, it's like, well, it shaped me. And my first memorable titty scene on the big screen was, and this is probably why I like blondes, but hence I married a Mexican. Anyways, I digress. Sandal Bergman's tits in Conan. I mean,
you know what, bro? I can't remember. I can't remember the first set of tits that I saw because we used to go. I would go to the drive-in. My parents would go to the drive-in. We'd go every weekend. And, of course, I'd be, dragged along. I'm not going to say dragged along. Maybe they took me to because we saw Star Wars, fucking first run at the drive-in. I was born in 75. Saw fucking Alien at age 4 at the drive-in. That's a fucking beautiful thing, man. So I can't remember the first pair of tits I saw on screen. I know the first set of tits I saw that stuck in my mind was the fucking naked lady in the bathtub for The Shining.
Oh, there you go.
Because I fucking that image stayed with me for like fucking 3 years. Every night. It's fucking that shit scary as fucking shit.
Jesus.
So let me digress.
I interrupted you, didn't I? I'm drunk. I'm sorry.
Let me digress a little bit here to my Lloyd Kaufman story. So I'm at the Comic-Con, and I proceed, and I don't think my drunk friend pissed Lloyd off, but I think I pissed Lloyd off because I said, hey, Lloyd, I have a question for you as he's signing my Toxic Avenger Toxic Avengers DVD. I said, I was watching some YouTube clips the other day, and he's like, uh-huh. And I said, and I saw you on Morton Downey Jr. And he goes, oh, yeah. And I said, so was that a work, or were they really fucking yanking you off stage? You know what? I still have a shoulder injury to this day from those guys yanking me off throwing me down outside. And then I was like, oh, man, that sucks. And then we're like, hey, can we get a picture? And he goes, I want you to stand in the middle, like kind of like sarcastically, but I didn't know how to take it. He goes, because you're the star of the show tonight, like real dicky. And I'm like, oh, what the fuck is this? Like, it was like, it's like, look, asshole, I understand passive aggressiveness when I hear it. What the fuck did I do to this guy? Did I ask him the wrong question about fucking the Morton Downey Jr. show? Like, was it a work? You know what I mean? And so he's just like, I don't know. I think that might have set him off. I don't know what the fuck happened there, but honest to God, that was the.
Nah. Well, I mean, look where you are. Look where you are today, man. You are the star of the show. This is your show. You are first billed. So you see, Lloyd Kaufman actually installed some subliminal shit into you.
Oh, there we go. There we go.
So I wanted you to say thank you, Uncle Lloyd.
Thank you, Uncle Lloyd. I hope to get you on our show sometime. Maybe we can get you on our show. Maybe you could call in, and that would be a huge get for us. That would be great.
There you go.
So how's the indie wrestling thing going, man?
You know what? I'm out here in the middle of Kansas, bro. It's not like it's not like a hotbed for fucking pro wrestling. I mean, the state of Missouri is I don't know a term to use other than the State Athletic Commission is lethal. I mean, there's so many fucking licenses and so much fucking red tape you got to go through, unless you're fucking rich, or unless you have a passion like for the business, like Harley Race, who goddamn rich cunt. Or unless you're Vince McMahon. I mean, Missouri it's a dead state. I mean, you have to be loaded. There's been times when Missouri there's been WWF wrestlers, WWE. Jesus, what is it? Is it the 90s here? The WWE wrestlers have showed up to be an integral part on Raw or a pay-per-view. Oh, excuse me, special event. And they weren't allowed to wrestle because their fucking licenses and shit were out of date, and the commission would come down that hard on them. So yeah, so in Missouri's out of the question. I mean, I've never worked a show in Missouri. When I say I've worked a show in St. Louis, Missouri, it's actually a few minutes north up in a suburb in Illinois. So I've never worked a show in Missouri. But yeah, I got a couple of feds that I work for from time to time, but yeah, it's going all right. Yeah, we got a show. We got a show next month.
Now
OCW. Okay, go ahead.
OCW.
That's right, OCW Pro Wrestling, based out of Topeka, Kansas.
Oh.
I also work for Metro Pro Wrestling. One of the guy over Chris Goff, the guy who was one of Steven McMahon's writers in the early 2000s. He helped write the Katie Vick and the Billy and Chuck and the Dawn Marie and Al Wilson wedding. So of course, when it came time for him to have a weekly television show on Kansas City Cable, of course he thought the Midnight Rose would be a good idea.
I love the Midnight Rose character. As a matter of fact, we sent you Sean or I either sent you a YouTube clip of us doing our best impersonation of the Dungeon of Doom and Ric Flair. I don't know if you got a chance to listen to it.
No, I sure didn't, man. I'll have to send that to me again.
Well, I'm sure you're aware of the whole controversy, with Benoit killing himself, obviously, but the whole thing saying that he was killed by Kevin Sullivan. You know, there's
that's the best. That's the most absurd thing ever.
So so Sean and I did this totally distasteful thing where I played Kevin Sullivan, and my best Kevin Sullivan, and I said, Benoit for stealing my wife. I'm gonna have Vince McMahon erase you off the history books and make it look like a murder-suicide. So it really wasn't in the best taste. Hey, we have a fan on here for you, Blade. Someone's calling, Linus Kleiser.
All right.
Linus,
how you doing? How you doing tonight?
Good, Linus. You're on with Blade Braxton.
Oh yes. How you doing, Blade?
Hey, I'm doing wonderful. How are you doing, man? Except for the fact my dick is oozing blood, I'm doing great.
Oh, that's good. That's how I used to feel when I used to wrestle in Lithuania. Yes. What kind of music do you listen to get you motivated in the ring? What kind of music? That gets you pumped up? My favorite band is the Misfits, man. I listen to them to get motivated on anything. Man. Michael Graves. Fuck yes. I listen to Midnight Rose. Have you heard of them? They're kind of an influence. They're influenced by that fucking Led Zeppelin. I don't really like Led Zeppelin too much because they're a bunch of copycats, What the fuck? They're kind of influenced in between Led Zeppelin and Queen and Guns N' Roses, so they're kind of intertwined with those kind of groups. That gets me pumped up when I used to wrestle. Not anymore. I retired.
You're a smart man.
Why did you retire? What happened? What happened, Linus?
Blue balls.
Blue balls?
Yes. Yeah.
Why have you retired? Because you have blue balls.
Well, I get kicked in the nuts, and then sex before the matches. My trainer discouraged sex before the matches, but I had to have sex to relax me, before the matches, and then plus knee me in the nuts.
I need to work for the federation you used to work for.
Women left and right every night,
Really? Night. With fat ones? I like to bang
yellow,
a little fat,
blue,
nasty,
red,
fucking sweaty
white.
rash.
It don't matter.
I'm not worried about the color. I'm worried about the stench.
Yeah.
Do women in Lithuania smell like goat cheese, Linus?
No,
goat cheese and a little lemon, like a little subtle lemon taste too.
Lemon, like lemon peppered fish.
Oh, it tastes like lemon, man. If you go down there, it tastes like lemon. That's not my toast.
Yeah, fucking throw some malt vinegar on there, man. I feel like you're fucking Long John Silver's dining out. All you can eat buffet.
You go to town all night. I fly, Blade. I come fly you. You come to Lithuania, I'll come fly you. I'll take you out. I'll paint you the town red over there in Lithuania. I'll paint the town red with you.
You're going to paint the town red? Are there a lot of menstruating broads there? I don't go for that, bro.
There's a lot of chili dogs, you name it.
Chili dog and
chili dogs, you name it, man. It tastes good. It's kind of like mercury, kind of real chemically. It's good. It's good for you.
I like chemicals, man. There a lot of gimmicks there, or what? Available gimmicks?
Yeah, you name it. My girlfriend, I hate to cut you off, man. It was a pleasure to meet you. We're going to a Vietnamese restaurant right now, so I have to let you guys go.
All right, Linus Kleiser, folks.
Aaron Beretta, thanks for the show.
All right,
man. Thank you, Sean.
Yeah,
thank you, Blade.
Thank you, Linus.
Yeah, later, Linus.
Sir.
Wow. Chili dogging it in Lithuania.
Wow. And I thought our old show used to be full of gimmicks.
That's awesome.
Wow.
Now let's go. You mentioned the Misfits, right?
Right.
Let's get into this, and you may have you talked to old Vince Russo the other day about the Kiss thing. You guys went back and forth about the Kiss thing. Now,
yes, sir.
And Sean and I had a show last week. Was it last week, Sean?
Yep.
About when a band ceases to be a band anymore, or the original band.
Okay.
Now, I know right now it just came out, Glenn Danzig suing Jerry Only for some money, whatever, hot topic.
Yeah, we'll get into that, but I'll let you continue.
Some craziness, whatever. So I've seen the and I love the Michael Graves era. I think it's great. I don't really. I'm not one of the guys who are like, yeah, I'm like, if it's Danzig, it's dead. If it's not Danzig, it's dead. I'm not one of those guys. I love the Graves era. I used to rock my daughter, who's now 14 years old. I used to rock her to sleep to what's that? I can listen. I'm forgetting the name of the song. It's on Famous Monsters. In the backseat of the drive-in, so lonely.
Saturday night, sir.
Yeah, Saturday night. So, yeah, I don't know why I was slipping my mind. So I used to rock my daughter to sleep to that song. Now, are you a fan of the latest incarnation, the Jerry Only fronted?
I have seen that version quite a few times. And, it is what it is. And it's hard to explain. And me and Vince Russo got into it about Kiss on the previous show. This time around, I didn't feel like arguing, so
right.
I kind of toned it down, or I put it in words that he would hopefully understand. But here's the thing, man. I'm 39 years old, but I still act like I'm 23.
Right.
I have the maturity level of let's say a 25-year-old. I feel the same. But my heroes are all aging, and there's going to come a time when I'm not going to be able to go see Gene and Paul on stage and get annihilated and have a good time. There's going to be a time where I'm not going to be able to go and see Jerry Only and have the fucking 3 chords resonating through my fucking brain, 6 inches from the speaker.
Right.
So it is what it is. I mean, in a perfect world, all 4 members of a band would stay together forever. But it's not a perfect world. And I kind of felt, I kind of identified with that when me and RD kind of had our bit of differences, which led to the end of Wrestlecrap Radio. I mean, here's 2 guys that have done a show for how many years was it at that point?
7 years it had to have been. 7 years, I think. Close.
It was almost 7 years. That's right. Yeah. Here's us cranking out shows, and here's a bit of differences, and then I'm mad. I get irritated at him. He probably gets irritated at me, and then we decide to stop the show. Well, imagine, and that was just a hobby. Imagine when you've got amounts of money involved, and egos and just all that shit. So, but anyway, to that end, and to put myself in that boat, I didn't really want Wrestlecrap Radio to end. I was having a good time. Yeah. Maybe Jerry Only's having a good time, and he enjoys the Misfits, a brand that he carried for years. And if he, I don't know. I'm drunk. I'm rambling.
No, it's okay.
It's okay. I mean, there's some songs that suck that are abysmal.
Oh, wow.
What?
There's some songs.
There's some
songs on the Devil's Reign on their latest album. There's some songs that are abysmal, but there are some songs that are good and that I really enjoy. That I actually enjoy more than Danzig and Graves songs. But,
I really enjoyed Doyle's new album. By the way, I don't know if you've had a chance to hear it.
I have not actually. I
think you would really like it if you like the Graves era of the Misfits. You would really like the new Doyle album. and I would highly suggest you pick it up. I got a chance to see last May, as a matter of fact. I got a chance to go see Danzig play, and with Doyle, special guest Doyle. So I got to see a classic Misfits set, and it was like, I'm kind of like you. Like, I mean, I'm a huge Misfits fan myself. I mean, they're your favorite band. I wouldn't say they're my favorite band, but I would say, growing up with the Misfits, I can every song in my head. I got the box set, the Coffin set. I got everything.
There you go.
Now I fucking was like a rabid animal in the fucking pit, and I mean, they're singing Skulls, right? And I'm like, when's the last time I'm going to be able to jump on some bodies and crowd surf and just get crazy? But with Doyle in front of me and Danzig singing Skulls. So I had told this story in the podcast before. As soon as the song stopped, the crowd just dropped everybody that was on top of the crowd, and I broke my ribs. All 185 pounds of me crashed down to the floor, just crack on the ribs on a hard concrete floor from about 6 feet up, and I fucking cracked ribs. And I'm like, okay, cool. You know what? I cracked my ribs at fucking. It's
a memory. That's a memory, bro. Maybe here's the thing. Maybe 10 years from now, when you'll go to reach up in the cabinets to get maybe some spices to do some cooking, you'll feel a little twinge in your ribs, and you'll be reminded of that show. Much in the same way that when I look up to the sky and I'm going to look at the moon today, and I feel a little fucking catch in my neck, and I feel a slight twinge of pain. I'll reminded of when I ran my van into a fucking telephone pole doing 50 on the way home from a Michael Graves show.
Oh. I enjoy Michael Graves, man. I enjoy his Gotham Road stuff. I think he's great, man.
Oh, it's good. He's a good guy, man. I've partied quite a few times with Mr. Graves. He's a good man.
Have you ever had a bad experience with any pro wrestler or anybody, that you're just like, wow, that, like you said about your heroes dying, how you met somebody and they're just totally not what you thought that they would be, and you're like, wow, that's the thing, man. As I've gotten older now, you never want to meet your fucking heroes and find them to be a fucking dick, because and luckily that's never happened to me. Like the first time, because in regards to wrestling, I'm obviously Demolition, one of my favorite wrestlers of all time, and I couldn't have asked for a better experience. I mean, me and RD were doing some promotional stuff at a Legends of Wrestling style show in Kokomo, Indiana, and I'm backstage and I meet Axe for the first time. Right.
And we just start talking, and it so happened that it was during intermission, and everybody goes out. Well, fucking Axe is actually staying in the back and just enjoying having a conversation with me and a couple other guys, and Tito Santana walks back through the curtain. He's like, Bill. He's like, got a lot of people out there, man. That's a horrible Tito Santana impression, by the way.
Hey, Bill, we got a lot of people out there, man. Let's get it done, that's it.
There you go. And Bill's like, all right, yeah, I'll be out there in a second. So I Bill Eadie, turned down making money to talk to me. So that's pretty fucking cool. I mean, it's now you're meeting your fucking hero, and whatever, So yeah, that was cool. Graves is fucking cool. Yeah, I've to be honest with you, I've never really had a bad experience with a celebrity because maybe I go into it with a different mindset. I don't know. I mean, celebrities are human. They have bad days. They have fucking good days. Like you're catching me on a good day, by the way. You're catching a better version of me than what Stevie J with AngryMarks.com, longtime sponsor of Wrestlecrap Radio, got yesterday on his show. I was a little bit tired.
You got a grouchy Gus, basically?
No, I wasn't grouchy, bro. I was just tired and I was rambling. Not rambling. I was just tired, man. You know, I'm fucking work. I'm stranded. I'm like fucking Gilligan without the hat and without the fucking bitches to stare at. I'm stranded 90 minutes from home, and I'm down to my last beer, by the way.
Oh boy.
The first person I ever interviewed, as far as I guess celebrity wise, was Doyle from the Misfits, and yeah, well, I mean, I do help write a little bit for a little bit of album reviews, some movie reviews for a website called KillerReviews.com, and I loosely say write because I should do it a lot more, but the company that sends me albums to review said, hey, you want to do an interview with Doyle? It's Halloween time. He's doing some stuff. I said, cool, let's do it. So it's my first interview ever, and my first interview is with fucking Doyle of the Misfits. Like, I mean, to me, how much bigger can it get, right? Like, I'm starstruck.
Hey, I hear you, but the first interview I ever did was with Michael Graves. I mean, before we ever started Wrestlecrap Radio, I interviewed Graves. When I've got the audio tape of it. I'm rambling and muttering and stuttering, but it was still cool, man. So I know what you're saying.
Yeah, I was the same way. I was kind of like, and it kind of goes back to we were talking about like our heroes thing, or how we don't think we expect somebody to be. So here I am, Michael Graves, I'm thinking horror icon, right? Like, I was like, hey, so what's your scariest horror movie, or what's the first horror movie you saw? He's like, fuck, man, I don't fucking remember, you know. And then I'm like, you're Doyle von Frankenstein, right? Like, you don't remember. And then I said, what scares you now? You know, what's the late? I don't fucking know, man. I just watch fucking football, you know. And I'm like,
yeah,
what a fucking letdown this motherfucker is. Like, are you kidding me, dude? Like, I mean, he was cool. He wasn't a dick, but it's just like, you think Misfits, you think horror, right? And you think, like, these guys have to be on their bus watching Bela Lugosi's fucking Dracula, or, you know, Black Sunday, you know, some old, horror movie. And no, he's busy on his fucking tour bus watching fucking NFL games, football games all day. You know?
Yeah, like you can dig up some old photos, you see fucking Only and Doyle in their football uniforms in the high school and shit, and you can, there's even some photos from like the mid-90s in the when they were getting ready to reform the Misfits, and there's Doyle in his New York Giants gear and shit, you know what I mean? So yeah, but hey, everybody live the gimmick, man. You know what I mean? And I'm like, dude, like, I enjoy the Lions, the Detroit Lions. You know what I mean? But
yeah.
Hey,
Sean and I are biggest.
It's not my gig to get on your show and talk about the Lions, though. You know what I mean? I mean that's we're here to talk about wrestling and horror and.
We talk about
abortion.
Well, we talk about everything, though, man. Like we kind of go on the course of just like. Just about anything and everything. As a matter of fact, and this is kind of why what I'm excited about. We've had a couple of guests on our show, but you are technically for me like the first type of, even though it's on whatever level, like celebrity to me, because I not grew up, but I would listen to Wrestlecrap Radio from the beginning. I remember listening to those early shows and going through it and talking with my brother, and we were just like, man, this is like just having conversations between me and some friends. As a matter of fact, Aaron here, it was kind of like just all talking like that, and I kind of like, I'm not going to say we're ripping anything off or anything like that, but just the free hanging and talking about, basically rambling about whatever. Is kind of how we've always liked it, Now I'm babbling a little bit about it, but
no, see, that's the thing, man. The thing is to have fun, man. You know, there's so many. Now I sound like Vince Russo. Because he's like when we were exchanging emails about the last show, he was like, I just want to have fun, you know, and like when he got released or his contract expired from TNA, you know, a couple of years ago, you know, I just sent him an email and said, Vince, you know, I heard the news, you know, I wish you well, brother, and he was like, hey, thanks, you know, he's like. You know, I want to say your show is the only one I ever had fun on. Wow. You know, and that's a horrible Vince Russo impression. That's not even close. That's like Bela Lugosi.
You guys had the greatest show that I ever decided to come on. Everybody else always wanted to know things, bro, but I had the best time of my life when I was on Wrestlecrap Radio, bar none. You know? Let
me tell you the truth, bro. And but no, fucking yeah, you know, the thing is to have fun. I see so many fucking I call them Mark shows.
Right.
You know, there's probably a better term than that, but just like they've got a wrestling guest on every fucking week, and it's the same fucking shit every fucking week. And this guy was on another show the week before, and he probably asked the same fucking question. Like, where did you get your start? What did you think about Survivor Series 97 screw job? And just fucking horrible. You're like, what's your fucking biggest moment? Who gives a fuck? I want to know whether or not you fucking masturbate to midget porn. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's what I give a fuck about. I don't give a fuck about, you know, I don't give a shit. I don't give a fuck who trained you.
That's the thing about Sean and I's show, and not to like, I mean, well, yeah, and I'm going to jerk myself off out there to the audience, so fuck you. Sean and I's show every week is different. One week, well, like, you know, we got you this week. Last week we just kind of did our own thing. The week before, you know, we had a fighter on, an MMA fighter, interviewing him. We had a porn star on one week. We had a guy who directed that movie Cropsy, that documentary Cropsy, you know, and in between that, we're sitting there and we're rewriting, you know, on our other shows, we're rewriting Ghostbusters movies, you know, just to be idiots and be assholes. And I don't want, like you said, it's like, I don't want to fucking pigeonhole myself. Like, obviously, when you get Wrestlecrap Radio, you're going to talk about wrestling, but you guys talk about other shit, you know, which is great. You know, I don't want to have that show that, like, I pigeonhole myself into. Speaking of which, hot midgets, Suicide Girls just put out a fucking beautiful midget. Most beautiful midget I've ever seen. Jesus Christ.
Dude, let me tell you something. I think I know the midget that you're talking about.
Oh, boy.
Ooh. Wait, we got to turn the
brunette midget? Is it the brunette midget?
Yeah. There we go. Talk about it. Let's just talk about it. Let's all whip it out and start working. Talk.
Dude, you know, I can't. I got to keep it confidential. I can't. We'll talk about it on the next show. No, I know what you're talking about. That is the hottest midget I've ever seen.
You know, here's the funny thing, Blade. When we were coming up with like things to ask, I put down like obviously some wrestling items, some metal items, but like news items that I was like, well, let's get into. Things to talk to you about were things like this wet and messy fetishism where people in sploshing, which is like people who like to get off with cake batter. You know, it like gets them off with things like that, or stories about a guy who got caught pissing on cough drops in Florida, or this girl who gave cupcakes filled with semen to her fellow students at a school in California, shit like that. I was like, let's get into it with him on this, instead
I love
of
that.
just regular stuff, man.
I love that. Those fucking Dirty Debbie's cum cakes from wherever they were at, man.
Exactly.
Dude, I mean, like, she just like having a fucking assembly line, a guy's fucking jerking off in the fucking, what's the deal? And I want to know. I mean, there's so much that needs to be known about this. Like, did they jerk off into the batter? I mean, or did they just like did they come into a cupcake that was already baked?
Well, here's what I heard. Here's what I heard she did. I heard she mixed cubes in it and used outdated items to make it. And everybody asked the girl, "Why do these taste like shit?" And she goes, "Because I had somebody come in them for you." And they're like, and then they had to call the okay, so they had to call the Poison Control Center for cum.
Oh, well.
And look, we've determined on this show when we did have a porn star on, Jen Padova, who did talk about a movie that she did called 10 Man Cum Slam, where she swallowed 10 loads, and she said, she said that, you know, because we asked her the question, was eating cum considered cannibalism? She goes, I think it is. And she goes, but also, she goes, it gave me a really bad upset stomach. And we're like, what are you talking about? She goes, my stomach was gurgling, and a half hour later, I was shitting my brains out. So I said, well, hey, there you go. I guess it's not good for you.
You know what I would like to see? I don't want to see a healthy porn actress swallow 10 loads. I want to see a chick who's suffering from acid reflux swallow 10 loads. So that way, fucking 10 minutes later, she'll burp and it'll all come back up like she's a living penis.
It's like those
challenges. A human penis.
It's like those challenges that you see those guys drinking like gallons of milk in under an hour, but it's just jizz, and then she's just throwing up blood and everything after a while. Just it's great.
Yeah, no, I suffer from acid reflux. Shit.
Really? Stop the presses. R.D. Reynolds, and you may have known this already, Blade, put up a notification that says sources have told this reporter that Mickie James is pregnant. Somewhere Blade Braxton is either celebrating or drowning his sorrows.
I saw that.
Now I know she's pregnant, and I know who the father is, by the way.
Oh, really?
Yeah, rumor has it her longtime beau, Magnus. Yes, Magnus.
You know what, bro? I don't believe that, and I'll tell you why. Because these rumors came out. These rumors came out that she was pregnant months ago, but there was no. Yeah, me and Magnus are expecting a child. Yay! There's nothing. There was nothing. She didn't respond to them. She didn't respond to the hundreds of thousands of congratulations. You know what I mean? And now, I think she announced she was pregnant today. Months. She's due in 4 months. She's been pregnant for 5 months. So that would lead me to believe that she doesn't know who the father is. So,
oh boy,
in the spirit of not knowing who somebody is, I'm going to pretend that the father of Mickie James' child is the Black Scorpion until I know him better. Because it's not me. It's not me. I will admit it. As much as I would love it to be me, it's not. I've never met her.
I will admit I have thrown a jerk or two to her pictures.
Beef and cheddar, man.
Yeah.
The Leg Show magazine.
Yeah, Leg Show, buddy. To her before she got her titties done, she was a bit younger, and her RB beef and cheddar. She was less centaurish at the time.
Right.
She was just young Alexis Lurie, stripper.
Yeah, young Alexis.
Here's the thing, man. I always, we talk about meeting our, heroes, like, meet our manly heroes. You know what I mean?
Right.
Now I've never met Mickie James, and it's part of the gimmick. You know what I mean? I'm in love with Mickie James, but I always wanted to get the photo op or the interview for our Wrestlecrap podcast. Something hoping finally deliver on it. You know what I mean?
Right.
But now she's gonna be with child or or with pregnancy weight, and it's just not the same. I mean, we started the whole Mickie James gag on our radio show in 2006. That was 8 years ago.
Right.
Now she's getting close to 40. It's not like she's in her 20s. You know what I mean?
No.
So now I don't know.
Who would be the new love of your life to replace her? Obviously, we got to go younger. We can't have an aging woman. So
that's not true. That's not true. You can get an aging woman. See, here's the gimmick. Here's the thing. If you get with an aging woman, you don't know. You might not know what she was like beforehand, so you don't have anything to compare her to negatively. You know what I mean?
Sure. Now I'm talking diva-wise.
Okay.
Who's on your radar?
I had this discussion the other day with my roommate. I was like, because we were watching Velvet Sky on TNA. And I was like, dude, yeah. I was like, dude, if someone pointed a gun to my head, and they said, who are you gonna fuck, Velvet Sky or Mickie James? I'd have a hard time. You know what I mean? Because my fucking dick would be saying Velvet Sky, but my gimmick would be saying Mickie James. You know what I mean?
Sure.
I don't know. The chick Lana from the manager of the wrestling dude on WWE, she's pretty hot.
Yeah,
she is. Yeah, she is.
She's like you would need to compare their height. She's got legs like Stacy Keibler in a way. I don't know who's taller. Probably Stacy Keibler, but she's got a better top half than Stacy Keibler. How's that for being respectful when you're being absolutely sexist?
Sean showed me tweeted me a picture of her topless. You should probably get that to Blade, so he could put that in the filing cabinet for later, Sean.
Well, yeah,
I'll filing cabinet. Yes, because I print them out. I print them out and put them in my porno cabinet.
Exactly.
I'm old school, dog.
I would have to say for me, my last one was Awesome Kong. Just to be dominated by a big, strong black woman, just to throw me around.
And I'd have to go for those. There's something about those crazy chicks I like between AJ Lee and Daphne, even though I know Daphne's not doing anything now.
Except too many concussions.
Yeah, well, what can you say? I still look at her and I think about all those days of her just being that scream queen back in WCW.
Oh yeah, no, she's smoking hot. Trust me. I met her at another Legends show that me and RD were doing some shit at. No. I would take her over AJ Lee. I never bought into the AJ Lee gimmick. She's.
Well, apparently CM Punk has, and I'm getting very upset at how any girl that I remotely even liked a bit in WWE has all been under that straight edge. I cannot understand how this man has just plowed his way through the back ladies' locker room like he has and has gotten away with it for so long.
Oh yeah, well yeah, I remember years ago seeing a photo of him and Maria and Mickie James all together. I think he banged both of them, right?
Who hasn't? Who? It's been everybody, right? Like obviously Maria, Mickie James. I think Natty Neidhart. I mean, that's all just speculation, but you name it, and I think I've heard stories. Melina. Or was that Dave Batista? I forget, man. It's too much.
Yeah, fucking Batista, he gets around, man. Yeah, I even heard him. Yeah, he banged them all.
You gonna watch him in that Guardians of the Galaxy?
You know what? Here's the thing, man. I would go to see that movie because I used to enjoy that comic book. But the thing is the movie this is based on isn't the comic book that I grew up on. It's based on the Marvel Ultimate line or some shit like that. But no, man, I'll be there. I'll be there because James Gunn, the guy who directed Romeo and Juliet.
Right.
Directed Guardians of the Galaxy. So I got to support James Gunn. Lloyd Kaufman has a cameo in it. So yes, anytime I get a chance to see James Gunn, who is a great man, and Lloyd in the mainstream film, yes, I'll go. Oh yeah, but there's a raccoon with a fucking machine gun. Although I wish, I was like, when I saw that Batista was going to be Drax the Destroyer, I kind of groaned. I was like, oh, man, really? Really? But, it is what it is. You know what I mean?
Well, it's supposed to be...
You can't have fucking Dwayne Johnson be the fucking bald, jacked up guy in every fucking movie.
No, you can't.
I was a little thrown off as when he was Roadblock. I didn't think my Roadblock was necessarily Hawaiian looking. But to me, the black.
Yeah, Roadblock.
Yeah, he was Roadblock in the G.I. Joe movie, and I'm like, well,
who would you get to play Roadblock? I would picture like Ving Rhames or something, man.
Exactly, like a Ving Rhames would be a perfect Roadblock. I mean, and I understand, he's the
or maybe a bald Mark Henry.
This is true. But that's not a leading man. Those aren't leading men. You know what I mean? And so they got. If you want somebody to save your franchise, you hire The Rock. That's the word on the street.
Fast and Furious, man.
Yep.
That motherfucker saves everything. Now you were getting into this conversation a little bit with old Russo, and I hate to fucking. You guys were just talking about so many things that were close to my heart, right? And the mom and pop video stores.
Oh, for sure, man.
So, as a kid, you said you were born in 75?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so 75, I was born in 76. So, if you grew up in my neighborhood or I grew up in your neighborhood, we more than likely would have been hanging out. And we grew up in around the same generation, so if you're like me, the only thing you probably thought about growing up, maybe past the age of 11 or 12 or 13, was smoking weed, horror movies, and pussy. That's all I cared about. So
I didn't smoke weed till I was 17. Man, I was a late bloomer.
Oh, were you?
Yeah.
So for me, again,
but I found my first point. I found, Don, my friend Don Mason. His dad used to have a stash of porno movies in the closet. He would bring them down. We used to watch them when we were about fucking 12.
Nice.
Yeah, there you go. Now, I've been trying to explain it, like, even to my daughter, who's now 14, who's into horror movies. I go into her room, I knock on the door, I open it, and she's watching Evil Dead 2. Listening to The Germs or listening to DI. She's into old punk and horror, which is, I guess I'm doing my job right. However, she's like, so you're telling me when you were 12 years old, you could walk to a video store in your neighborhood and you could rent any movie? And I said, yeah. I mean, if it wasn't in the back, if it wasn't one of those movies that you had to get from it wasn't a movie in the back. They had a black book at the video store I went to. And they had a black book, and then you gave the guy the number. So you're like, I want movie number B12, So B12 would be like Edward Penis Hands, something like that, right? But however, in the far corner of the horror section, you had your I spit on your graves. You had our all those movies. Cannibal Holocaust. At 12 years old, they let me walk out of that fucking place with Faces of Death 1, 2, and 3. No questions asked. And so, did you have that same experience growing up?
You know what? I mean, like fucking, my parents would always rent the motherfuckers. Shit, my parents, you talking about Edward Penis Hands, man. Shit, fucking me and Don and my friend Corey would go, we'd go to the fucking video store. Shit, we'd go into the porno section and be like, Mom, we want to rent this. My mom would rent us pornos, you know what I mean? So, you know, we were going to watch Wet Dream on Elm Street starring Randy West. You know, you boys. You know, so, you know, I'd watch whatever the fuck, you know, we wanted to, you know what I mean? My parents didn't care. The video store didn't give a fuck, you know what I mean?
Dang.
So, it's good to be well educated.
I borrowed a porno from my friend, and it was called White Brother, Black Sister, and so it was a green videotape, and my parents were at a wedding or something, so I put it in, and I'm watching White Brother, Black Sister, and I'm getting to watch this like white dude pound all these black chicks, and you know, her friends or whatever, and I hear the garage door go up. I'm like, oh no, turn it off. So I go to turn it off and I go to eject and it's not ejecting. It's not. I'm like, what the fuck? Like, it's not ejecting. So I had to wait for my parents to go to bed. I had to go into the garage quietly. I had to unscrew the VCR from the top and take the top off, and I had to pull the videotape out of it, and I broke it, and I owed my friend like $15 because I just had to yank it out. Yeah, this is.
There you go, dude. It reminds me, dude. I don't think I ever laughed as hard. It's a story similar to you.
Right.
Me and Don and a friend were in Don's basement because Don was living with his grandparents at the time. Real religious grandparents. And we're down there watching a video from...
Right.
We're down there watching a video, and this chick is butt-ass naked on a couch, and she's got her arms and legs restrained by vines because these, like, plants came to life and attacked her. And this demon with a demon face and a demon dick with a fucking demon fucking mouth on the head of his penis is about ready to rape her on the couch with these vines attached to her. So he gets on her and he gets on top of her and starts raping her on the couch. And sure enough, down the steps starts to walk Don's highly religious grandmother.
Oh no!
Chick's getting raped by a monster on the couch. Here comes Don's grandmother creeping down as fast as a late 70s woman would creep down the stairs. And Don starts to shit himself because he can't find the remote to shut it off. Oh shit! Oh fuck! Where's the fucking remote? Yeah.
That's the best.
And he finally, Don's uncle is sitting on the couch drooling, OD'd on fucking OxyContin. You know, me and another guy are just sitting there fucking laughing. It's just a train wreck of a scene. And Don finds the remote just in the nick of time, so his grandmother doesn't find him watching rape porn in the basement.
Are you boys having a good time down here? Are you getting along? What type of movies are you watching?
Oh, is this some type of botanical film? I see plenty.
Would you guys like some sandwiches or some soup? I can maybe possibly get you.
Oh. It's when I was a teenager, I lived in a house, but then if you wanted to drive or ride your bike a little way, you could go hang out with some of the kids that lived in the apartment complex, which some of the kids in the apartment complexes were cooler than the kids in your neighborhood because they were a bit more humble, right? So
right, I hear you.
So we're hanging out, and I met this kid, and I'll call him Preemie Joe. I won't give him out his real name because he may listen to the show, and he'll know who he is, Preemie Joe. The reason why we call him Preemie Joe is because Preemie Joe was at his mom's house, not his dad's. His dad lived in the apartment, and my friend peeked into the window. It was a basement window, and he's watching Preemie Joe jerking it, and he was laughing, and Preemie Joe apparently busted his nut in 60 seconds. hence the name Preemie Joe. So we called Preemie Joe. But we would go to Preemie Joe's apartment because Preemie Joe's dad, and this is the rumor because we all know how urban legends get started. We've talked about urban legends to death on this show. The urban legend was Preemie Joe's dad, who was, when we were in high school, was 75 years old, a New Yorker, and the last name that was very strongly Italian. Now, Blade, if you don't know anything about New Mexico in the 60s and 70s was the place where the Henry Hills of the world from Goodfellas would be placed, if you know what I mean. So Preemie Joe's dad, supposedly, the rumor was one of these placed gentlemen. And I'm like, how do you guys get, money? And he's like, oh, my dad knows card tricks. He knows a system. He just goes to the casinos, and he knows a system for blackjack. And then so we're like, oh, cool. So the reason why it was so cool to hang out at Preemie Joe's house was you could go into his bedroom and smoke weed. And his dad was so stupid to the fact, and I'll just give out his first name, knocking on the, Jason? Yes? What's that smell? Oh, that's just some new incense, Dad, that we got. Oh, it smells nice, Jason. Yeah, it does, Dad. Thanks. So Preemie Joe's house was the place to go to smoke weed because his dad was just too stupid to know that we were all smoking weed in there. That's such a nice smell.
Oh, that's great. Shit, we used to fucking have to, when it came time to me and Don were gonna watch ECW, I would have to put towels at the bottom of my fucking door, and we'd have cherry tobacco fucking cigars and fucking just, fucking light them up and fucking fill the air with that to try to neutralize the weed smell, because my mom's not a moron. My dad used to fucking smoke back in the day.
Right.
So I think we got away with it, maybe. Yeah.
Maybe. Sean, did you ever have those situations happen to you?
No, because my dad, he smoked so much weed in the 60s and stuff. He actually is allergic to it. We never were able to. I never did because he could smell it in a heartbeat. My parents used to do it. They didn't ever claim it, but they were pretty much kind of like hippies back in the day, even though they didn't go full out like that. So we could never get away with stuff like that. I remember one time my youngest sister, she came into the house with clearly what was mushrooms that were just in her room. And me and my brother look at this, and we're just, looking at this, and we're like, what are you doing with this? We know what this is. And she was able to convince my parents. Now, this is the only time because they didn't, I guess they never experienced this. She was able to convince that she was holding onto it for a friend, for a later date, for a recipe, man. It was the dumbest thing I ever heard. But I was like, what, for a fucking spaghetti? What, you don't just put that shit in a fridge? Why is it locked up in 3 boxes in a fucking closet? But we could never get away with any of that type of stuff. It was just never allowed. I can say to this day that I've never touched the stuff as far as that goes. But it's I know the smell. I know around it. Everybody around here does it. It's good. Though.
Yeah. It's hard for me to say if my mom ever knew what we were doing because there's 2 instances. The yin and the yang. I'll never forget the first time my mom found a roach. I don't know what the fuck my dad was doing, but he was an auto mechanic. Right. He might have been in my car doing some type of work on it, perhaps. But I'm fucking. I'd left a roach in the ashtray, and I'm in bed and I'm fucking asleep. I get it's Saturday. I'm sleeping in. And, my mom fucking opens the door. What is this? What are you doing with this pot in your ashtray? I'm like, nice way to wake me up. But then, then a few years later, I'm just annihilated. And I fucking leave my bag of, I don't know how this could ever happen. but I must have went to take a leak, and I put the toilet lid down, and I left my bag of weed on top of the fucking toilet.
Oh boy!
And and then my mom's like, "Oh, cool as the day, oh, you left this on top of the toilet." I'm like, "Huh?" One time I got annihilated and fucking I spilled my weed all over the fucking floor and had to, woke up hungover, went to work, and my mom actually, my polite, wonderful mom actually picked up all the loose weed and it spilled on the floor and put it back in the bag.
You dropped this.
This was all over your floor. I picked it up and put it in the bag. I'm like, Jesus, where was this attitude when you were waking me up at fucking 7 in the screaming your lungs out at me about a fucking roach?
How nice of her. So no siblings to fuck your game up there with the weed and any of that stuff? You had...
my sister was younger, you know what I mean? So that might have worked to my advantage, you know what I mean? She was probably being more of an idiot than I was. Right. So my mom would be preoccupied with her. So, I don't know.
So I had the situation where when I was a senior in high school, so this was probably, or a little after high school, so I would say 96, so like the year right after high school. So 96, I had met, and I don't give a fuck if I announce this on, we talk about shit from our podcast all the time. We don't care about our past. I had met a grower, right? And he was just selling me at an awesome price, really good weed. And, back in 96, it was the Chronic, yo. So, exactly.
I would rather have the 96 Chronic than, this fucking shit that you can get from Colorado these days that's fucking makes you feel like you're tripping on acid after 2 hits.
Exactly, dude. Like, oh my God, like I want to chill and I want to hang out. I don't want to fucking have a psychological breakdown here,
Yeah, you know what I mean? Dude, give me that fucking dirt weed that I used to get ripped off for like fucking $40 for an eighth of an ounce. It's like you didn't really feel nothing, but hey.
Yeah, you guys have some shitty. I went out to Wisconsin one time, and some girl's like, I can get you an eighth for $40, and I'm like, see, this is the benefit of living by the border. I can get me an eighth for $10 right down where I'm at, So I'm like, what the fuck are you fucking? Are you smoking? I'm not paying you $40 for an eighth. Get the fuck out of here. So I had the benefit back in the day of knowing a grower, and I got it for really cheap, and I got a lot of it, and of course, the way my mind works was like, well, hey, if I sell this amount to my buddies and make this amount, I'm going to make some money and make some free weed. Why not? It's not like it was a cartel guy pushing pounds or anything like that. So it was really stinky, really skunky, and I decided I got to wrap this up really tight, and I got to put it in my closet. So I had it in my closet, wrapped up really tight so my parents couldn't smell it. Mm-hmm. And I went to go get some, and I'm like, there's some shit missing here. What the fuck's going on? Yeah, so this is coming out a little light here. So I'm starting to notice my sister, my older sister, by the way, and my neighbor who lived on the other street lately had been a little bit goofy lately. Little bit goofy. Boy. Yeah, little goofy. Oh, good job, baby. Hang on one second, guys. How much? There you go. Okay, close the door. Thank you. My wife just got back. My wife just took my daughter to Savers, which is kind of like a local secondhand shoe store, and she just picked herself up a pair of Docs for $20. So very happy.
Savers? Is that I buy VHS from a franchise called Savers.
Yeah, there you go. That's it. Yeah, Savers sells VHS. So going back to my story, I noticed my sister and her friend have been a little bit loopy and a little bit funny lately. And I'm like, you're getting into my weed, aren't you? She goes, no. And I said, don't fucking lie to me. How did you find it? And she goes, well, you know the dog, our parents' dog, his name was Chacho. And I said, yeah. She goes, I found him passed out in your room. And I was like, what? She's like, she's like, if you notice the bag that you had it in, because I had it in bags from my parents, from their kitchen. She goes, he got into the bottom of the bag.
Oh boy.
And he ate some of your weed. And I didn't know you had that weed in there, so we started helping ourselves and pinching your stash. And I'm like, well, you owe me $100, you fucking bitch. She never paid me, whatever, but still.
What are you going all Tony Montana over some weed? You took him to the toilet? That's great, man.
Yeah, so my passed out dog led her to, while I was at work one day. She's like, I went into the room, he was laying down, he wouldn't wake up, his nose was dry, and then I finally got him to get up.
It was dry.
Yeah. So I got him to move a little bit, and he wouldn't move his tail. He was just walking like, poor dude. That's hilarious, dude. Yeah, it was great. So I mean,
so I got to know the basic chemistry here. So if a dog eats marijuana, it can get high without having to bake it or eat it.
Yeah. Oh yeah. The dog can. Yeah. I used to eat weed all the time, man. Like just a nug, like a little bud. I used to just pop it in my mouth and just chew on it and swallow it. I used to get fucking stoned off of that, man. Just like I had so much, at the time. I was like, I don't feel like smoking. I'm just gonna eat a little nug here. It was like maybe 2 or 3 bowls, and I would just chew it up and eat it and swallow it and be high for like 5 hours. It was great.
God damn.
Yeah. Well, me and Sean had talked about this, like that whole Sam Kinison story where he says, "Oh, Sam Kinison's here. Break out the wall mirror and get the garden hose." That
giant
was
rocks of coke. Yeah.
Yeah, that was me. Yeah, I'll fully admit it.
Oh.
Hey, let's use that. Hey, you're gonna use that lighter to crush up that rock of coke? Yeah. Give me the lighter when you're done so I can lick it. It's like one of those things.
Oh yeah.
Come on, we've all been there, right?
Good times.
Well, Blade's laughing because he knows what I'm talking about. So I don't want to throw you under the bus or anything or blow up your spot, but that's what. Sean, have you ever even smoked weed?
Okay, I'll one time, man, just once. It was a couple of years ago. I was on a trip to Durango, and it literally was just to try it, but nothing happened. And this is also when I was still like 336 on the weight scale, so nothing happened. And I've always, I tried it. I don't even smoke because I have a horrible fear of like choking to death. So I've never smoked really anything in my life. And it's like, nothing happened. Haven't done it since. Didn't do it before. I couldn't tell you. They're like, oh, you got to try it again. I'm like, well, fuck, I don't know what to say.
The first time I ever smoked, I don't really remember getting high too much. You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah. That's what they say. I hear that a lot.
Now, have you heard these stories about people blowing themselves up trying to make the butane wax or butter out of weed? Have you guys heard of this lately going on?
Nah, man. Yeah, I'm not too. You know what I mean? The fucking, fucking beer. I'm not too up on the weed culture and things like that, man. Because alcohol is my gimmick, my vice of choice, man.
Right.
Oh, you're the beer guy now. The weed's done.
Let me. As far as like the butter stuff types, I love the weed culture these days, where it's like it's not just a plant. It's like you can do many things with it. We can build houses, brick and mortar. Like they're finding every other thing to do besides just getting high with it anymore, and it's just hilarious every single time I take a look at it. It's even a great child care provider. You just put it's awful, man.
We built this nanny out of nothing but pure fucking Australian hemp. and she watches after little Johnny. You know? Oh,
yeah.
Come on. You're getting high. Shut the fuck up, Jesus.
Well, they have like I watched a Vice documentary on the big business that is now marijuana in Colorado, and
millions.
So I mean, it's going to be into the billions. You watch and see. Yeah. And what's happening is they are now having conventions, as they did when the .com boom hit, right? And I'm telling people out there, and I'm even thinking about getting some stock in these fucking places and turning it over. There are these straight up business people who would have, 12, 13, 14, 15 years ago gotten into the .com boom, are the same people pushing their weed product, pushing their drinks, pushing this, pushing that, pushing their lotion that you can get high with, because it has weed in it. God. You just rub it into your skin. They're pushing their car service, their weed delivery service. You don't have to leave your house. So now what's going on out there, which is fucking insane, is they have now, it's against the federal law to smoke weed, but you have your state's rights, and it's against the federal law to sell it. However, state law can sometimes trump federal law, which is what they're doing in Colorado. Right. Now, what Colorado is having to do in all these dispensaries is they're not allowed to keep their money in a bank because the banks are run by the feds. They can't even keep it in a private bank. So
in a PayPal account?
Nope. So what they do is they have hired ex-military, ex-police to transport their money around to different places, and these guys are heavily armed, heavily armed motherfuckers, and basically bulletproof cars, and they're wearing bulletproof vests to take these boxes of cash to undisclosed locations, because that's the only place that they can keep it, because they're not allowed to keep it in a bank anymore.
This is hilarious.
Yeah, and the reason why they are doing this is because they have hurt the Mexican cartel. The Mexican cartel is suffering billions of dollars of losses due to the legalization of marijuana in Colorado. And there's been instances where people are getting these small mom and pop, and it's going to happen, Blade. You watch, because they are small mom and pop organizations going on out there, and they are going to be taken over by the Walmarts of marijuana. It's going to happen.
Yeah.
Because they're like, our marijuana's better. I mean, come on, you want these? We got the money. So it's going to happen. It's just on a weird level. It's fucking money at the end of the day, man. That's all.
Yeah.
It's all about the money.
Yep. Support your mom and pop weed growers. Support your mom and pop video stores. Yeah.
Buy local. It's all about the local. Let me ask you something, Blade, because I know you've with what you told us about getting into trauma. You made that video that they put it in. You did that almost the exact same thing with the Black Scorpion stuff to get on with Wrestlecrap.com. And I've been seeing now you've got that. I remember towards the end there of the Wrestlecrap radio things when you were promoting, Corey J. Ugler and the Incest Death Squad, IDS Rising, and all that stuff. And now you've got this new one coming out.
As a matter of fact, the trailer just premiered on YouTube a few hours ago, man. It's a film entitled "The Girl Who Played with the Dead." Now, as much as I enjoyed being on the set of Return to Nukem High,
right?
This movie right here might be obviously in Return to Nukem High, which nothing will ever top that, But I was just I was kind of like Bosk, you know what I mean? I just
right.
didn't have, I just probably grunted, there's probably some grunts in there, and I just destroy shit for a brief amount of time. But in The Girl Who Played with the Dead, this is my classically trained acting at its apex right here, buddy. But anyway, it's a movie about a girl who has a necrophilia fetish. She gets off on dead things. She will masturbate to Holocaust victims. Gas chamber videos from World War II. That's her porn. And then she realizes one day, you know what? This isn't the way to live. This isn't the way to live. I want to live a normal life. I want to go out and have dates and have relationships with men and live a quote unquote normal life. And that's when Satan appears, and I play Satan. And he tries to convince her that, you don't want to do this. You want to keep being a deviant. And then, so there you go. You've got the classic struggle of woman versus necrophilia versus Satan.
So,
and it also stars the great Shannon Lark. Great independent horror actress. She's done a lot of things with Fangoria and other films. Lloyd Kaufman plays God in the film To My Satan. So you get to see God come face to face with Satan in the form of me and Lloyd Kaufman from Trauma. And a few of the other faces that you may remember from the Incest Death Squad trilogy, like Greg Johnson and Tom Lodwick, a bunch of fine actors. Just a great fucking film, man. It's so fucking out there, man. I'm so happy to be a part of this just insanity. Like Tom Lodwick plays Jeffrey Dahmer. We had Jeffrey Dahmer in the film. So
that's great.
And here's the thing, bro. God bless my friend Corey J. Udler, who some people may, you may or you may not know. He's the guy that played the honky tonk mailman on Wrestlecrap Radio.
Love it.
Anyway, Corey, totally, just the fucking greatest guy I know in fucking, the industry today, other than Lloyd Kaufman. We're not going to have a big, glitzy, fucking ego-filled fucking premiere to try to make us look like we're fucking and we're somebody, we're part of this scene. No, fuck that. Our premiere is fucking free. It's going to be online. Everybody can watch the movie for the first time together. It's June 6th, I believe, 9 o'clock. At the website indiehorror.tv, you can see the premiere of The Girl Who Played with the Dead. Exploitation classic.
If you have a trailer up on YouTube, do you have any trailers up or anything yet?
Yeah, man, yeah. Corey uploaded the trailer just a few hours ago. So
cool. So is it cool if we'll play it on our show?
Yeah,
of course, man.
You want to hear
on our Facebook? Oh, go ahead,
we'll post it on our Facebook. But I was going to say, Blade, do you want to hear a fake movie trailer that Sean and I did?
Sure, man.
Watch, listen to this, all right? It's just Sean and I got on the kick of making fake movie trailers, right? But we only did the audio. There's nothing visual. We just did audio shit. So this one's called the Pizza Cutter.
Pizza, America's favorite food.
Until an escaped mental patient is your pizza delivery boy. The Pizza Cutter.
Pizza, takeout or delivery?
Delivery, man.
What can I get you?
Large pizza with shrooms, man. Yeah, man, put shrooms on it. Don't be late, I'm hungry. Yeah, don't be late, man. We got the munchies.
They shouldn't have stiffed him. The Pizza Cutter.
Your 30 seconds late, bro. I get it free. Yeah, bro, we get it free. No tip for you. Yeah, you snooze, you lose, bro. Ha!
The pizza cutter. They shouldn't have taunted him. The pizza cutter. The pizza cutter. Prepare to be sliced.
Coming soon.
That's great.
Rated R for restricted.
That's great, man. That sounds better than half the trailers I saw in the middle of Grindhouse, man.
Well, that's the inspiration. We love doing those little things, you know. One of my favorite ones was that even though I know a lot of people pan what was it, Grindhouse, with those Grindhouse movies Quentin Tarantino and them did. I loved that Thanksgiving trailer.
I've got a lot of friends in the quote unquote industry or business. That's fucking bullshit. Dude, I fucking loved him. I fucking the first half of Death Proof is one of my fucking favorite fucking movies of all time.
It's so fucking good, dude. Like, give me a real fucking car chase at the end too. Like, and they did it. Like, Tarantino did it. A real fucking car chase. You know. I mean, I get it. CGI has its place in movies, and if used properly, I don't mind it. If used fucking properly. But Death Proof is a great slasher movie, dude. It's a great slasher movie.
Yeah, the first time I saw it, I had just sat through Planet Terror, and I was like, oh, God, that was awesome. And and then Death Proof was like, it's kind of a lot of talking. But then the next few times, and then I gave it another chance when I was fucking high as a kite and annihilated on beer. I was like, holy fuck, this is fucking great. And fucking love that movie.
Check this one out. And Sean and I took the most basic premise. I'm thinking, what's the most basic premise other than a fucking shark in the water, right? To scare the shit out of you. So we did another one, and I want you to hear it real quick, and I want you to get your take. It's only 41 seconds long, so I'm going to play it now.
Okay.
Acid rain. Where will you be when the acid rain falls on you? Don't get caught in the acid rain.
Coming soon to a theater near you. Rated R for restricted.
That's great, man. I would buy that. I would buy that for $1. It's good stuff. What you could do with that is just incredible.
We have dude. We have written 15, if not more, right, Sean? Maybe 15 fake movie trailers,
from romance comedies to buddy cop movies to spy movies, just
Hey, keep fucking writing, because as the days go by, I keep losing brain cells. So the writing potential, I'm losing it day by day. But once I get a camera, I need to buy a camera so I can start making my own films. Because that was always my greatest passion. I mean, in middle school and high school, me and my friend Don Mason, we would make films, and they were horrible, and it just didn't make sense. But now I'm older, I feel the need for my vision to be put out there. I can't always rely on people like Corey Udler, or to be a part of things that Lloyd does. Because those guys are few and far between. For every one of them, there's 100 other motherfuckers that want to remake, what they saw in the fucking movie theater. They want to fucking do something just to be fucking cool. And you're not going to get anything going with that.
One of my biggest influences, I know while I'm writing kind of like my fake horror movie trailers, definitely would have to be Roger Corman. Just kind of any fucking Roger Corman movie I love. You know, I mean, and I mean, I understand he doesn't write all the movies, he just produces them, but it's still at the same time. I mean, it's
I mean, like I said, you know, I don't know how much time we got left on the show. I don't want to ramble, but
no,
ramble.
We
got 10 minutes.
About 10 minutes, man. You've been,
I am the only kid in the fucking world who ever had a Roger Corman Humanoids from the Deep playset as a child.
God damn you.
And I tell you why, because my old man was very crafty. So when I was a kid, I was like, hey, you know, it's 1980. Hey, Dad, I want a Dagobah playset from Empire Strikes Back. So he took a bunch of paper mache and crafted me fucking, this was before Kenner came out with it. And he crafted me a little hut with fucking Yoda's little fucking hut and a little fucking marsh and fucking like a little lake and shit, all out of paper mache, fucking painted the fucker and everything. So I had a Dagobah playset. And then he built me a fucking AT-AT, a fucking Imperial Walker before they were made and shit. So I had this fucking AT-AT. And then one late night on HBO, I watched Roger Corman make a movie about mutant fucking fishmen raping women and impregnating them.
Oh,
and I was like, Dad, I want a Humanoids from the Deep playset. So my old man constructs this fucking thing, and it kind of has like a little hill and a little painted a little water area. And I don't know if you, I'm sure you guys are familiar with the old Mego Star Trek figures.
Absolutely.
There was a Star Trek figure called the Neptunian, and he was green and he had fish arms. That was my humanoid, and Lieutenant Uhura played one of my Lieutenant Uhura action figure was one of the victims. So yeah, that was my Humanoids from the Deep fucking playset. Fucking absurd.
Whoa. The youngest I remember getting anything close to Mego or anything like that was actually, and as a kid, obviously it was a lot bigger and badder than what I'm sure it probably was, but an Evel Knievel ripcord, motorcycle.
Oh, yeah, for sure, bro. Yeah, I totally remember those, man.
And just ripped that fucker and it just went down. I lived on it, like my driveway was pitched, right? So you had to drive up. So I built a ramp at the bottom of the driveway and I just ripped that fucker and it would just catch speed. And then at the bottom of the driveway, just hit that fake ramp and just, I try to intimidate. I try to, do the same thing that I saw in the commercials. Because the commercials were great selling points because they always had these cool things in the commercials, like a fake stadium in the background or a fake ramp. That didn't come with the fucking motorcycle, so you had to make your own. But that's the earliest I remember. But the first Christmas I remember as far as toys were concerned was my dad, and it sounds like you and I both had cool fucking dads that bought us cool shit, and that probably influenced our lives today to the crazy fucking horror nuts that we are, or whatever the case may be. But my dad bought me Castle Grayskull, He-Man, Skeletor, and Beastman, and Man-at-Arms. So I had 2 bad guys, 2 good guys. That was like the first, orange shag carpet in my parents' house. My sister listening to fucking what's that song? Kim Wilde, Sean, Kids in America.
Oh yeah.
Jesus Christ.
That's the fucking that's the first Christmas I vividly remember. I might have been in first grade, but playing with He-Man and my sister playing that song over and over again on her little 48. Just we're the kids in America, and I'm like, God, that fucking takes every time I hear that song. Oh, that's the best fucking song ever. It just fucking takes me back, I'm gonna go to were you into Gwar?
You know what, man? I was just a casual fan. You know what I mean? I don't. It's one of those things where I was like, when Odorous fucking died, man. I was like, man, why didn't I ever get big into these guys? But I don't know, I'm fucking very narrow-minded, man. Like fucking Kiss and the Misfits, blah 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 blah. You know what I mean? But no, I never really got into them. I need to now that he passed away. I need to. I feel like it's my duty as the guy that I am to check.
What's the latest band that you've been listening to?
What's that?
What's the latest band you've been jamming?
Ghost, man. Love those guys. Man.
Here we go. There we go, man.
I swear to God, man. I was talking to Aaron this whole week, and I'm like, from everything I've heard with between Wrestlecrap radio and everything, it's like it's almost like talking to the same guy on two different lines here. You guys are just like almost using the pod, but it's different sides of the country. It's so weird. But
dude, I got to see them a few weeks ago, man. And dude, fucking the only time that being a fucking shitbag degenerate with a horrible bank account and a horrible fucking debit card record ever came into play was, man, I got to get a concert shirt. Got to get the fucking Ghost concert shirt. So I gave the guy my suspect debit card, which had just been fucking, I got a hospital bill that fucking the courts got into my bank account and fucked with my shit. So I was like, I don't know if I have enough money in here, but let me try anyway. I gave him my debit card. He swiped it, and it said it was okay. And it passed. He gave me the fucking shirt. I was like, oh, shit. I was like, I can't believe that happened. A week later, I find out that they only charged my debit card 33 cents for my Ghost tour shirt. Because somehow my shit was so fucked up that their fucking debit card reader didn't know how to handle it being all fucked up, so it only charged me the 33 cents I had in my bank account. It wasn't,
Well, there you go, sir. There you go, Mr. Braxton. There's your shirt. Have a good time with it. I caught this.
Bro.
I got this is what a great, I guess, May I had last year, and it's still pretty memorable. In the same week, on a Wednesday night last May, I went and saw Ghost. They came to town. Great show, phenomenal. Fucking, it was so chill. You know what I mean? It's not like this show where you go and beat the shit out of yourself. It was just a really good show. So, awesome. I went and fucking saw Ghost. That Friday, Rob Zombie's Lords of Salem opened up on the screen here in the limited release. So I was like, fuck yeah, I'm going to go see Lords of Salem, right? So I go and watch Lords of Salem. That night, and this is only 2 days later, I got to see Danzig and Doyle play. So I had a very fun-filled, occult, rock, satanic 3 days, just...
That is your one-way. That's your one-way ticket to hell, sir. That's how you do it. Some people got to fuck around. Some people got to fuck around for a few years to get it accomplished. You did it in 3 days, man. You should try it yourself.
Yeah, Ghost, Lords of Salem, and fucking Danzig and watch the. You can't get any fucking better than that, man. So, hey, Blake, we're gonna wrap it up here, man. Do you got anything you wanna pitch?
Yeah, I gotta go. Let me shill everything that's going on, man. First of all, go to facebook.com/thegirlwhoplayedwiththedead-movie. That's where you can see the trailer. They type that into YouTube. See the trailer, man. It's online premiere June 6th. Also, obviously, WrestleCrap.com. Me and RD have the RD and Blade show. Whenever we do it, but it's still the worst in wrestling, longest running wrestling website in history. Yep. Number 3, be sure to check out Occupied Cannes, the documentary from Trauma that I was a part of last year at the Cannes Film Festival. Its trailer is premiering at Cannes Film Festival this week. You can watch me and the Trauma team as we fight to preserve independent cinema in a media conglomerate-owned shit world. Be sure to check out their Tumblr site, Occupy Can. Return to Nukem High, Volume 2, that's coming out, man. Be sure to check out the new trailer. I'm in the fucking thing. And then number 5, I've been typecast on my internet movie database page. My friend said, dude, you're not really an actor. All you ever do is play things that are basically like you in real life. I changed that. In a few weeks, I'm going to be a part of my friend Derek Carey's horror anthology movie called Hole in the Wall. I'm playing an axe murderer. I am not a demonically possessed axe murderer in real life. I have no experience in that whatsoever. So I'm going to be a part of that. That's on the Google all that shit. If you fucking don't hate me, Facebook.com/Blade Braxton, @Blade Braxton on Twitter, fucking whatever. Yeah, there you go. I think that's everything I fucking need to shill.
So you can find me on Twitter at AndroidVirus, on Instagram at AndroidVirus, and AV Sean Show on Twitter as well. So you can find AV and Sean Show. And anything else you want to tip, Sean?
We got hit us up on our Facebook and or through our Twitter. Like our page. If you want a bumper sticker, we got them. All you got to do is message me privately, and I'll send them.
I forgot number 6. I'm also a part. I'm also a part of Drive-In Movie Maniacs.
Yes.
It's reminiscent of Elvira's movie Macabre, where the Midnight Rose is a frequent guest star with Terrible Tim as we present a bunch of horrible old-timey movies. Just check Facebook.com/Drive-In Movie Maniacs. It is streaming online every Friday and Saturday night, so you can get your fix of old-timey late-night horror hosted shows with Terrible Tim and the Midnight Rose. Continue.
I love it. Other than that, just Sean Breeding on Twitter and Facebook, or I updated a thing with the Amazing Spider-Man on my WordPress, seanbreeding.wordpress.com. But Blade, I love it, man. Thank you. I'm honored that you were on our show and you said yes and came on and hung out with us for the long haul, you know.
I had a good time, man. I'm out in the middle of nowhere. I'm silently drunk, so yeah.
Yes.
I hope it was as good for you as it was for us, and we weren't another boring ass stupid fucking podcast. And if we were another boring ass stupid fucking podcast, then I guess we are. But I don't think we're another boring ass stupid fucking podcast. So, Blade, dude, thank you so much. I've been following you for years as well, man. It's it's great to meet you. Great to talk to somebody who is into the same shit that I am, and we're like, horror fans are horror fans. You could fucking it doesn't matter. You don't have to talk to them in real life. You can get them on the fucking phone, and you guys could just talk forever like your buddies. So I appreciate it.
Hey, it's been a pleasure, man. If you guys sucked, I would have been off the line an hour ago.
There you go.
All right, man. Good night, guys. Thank you for tuning in.